wicked Felina. I'm Felina. It's a little story about Hillary and what happened. I'll tell you in a minute. Her little campaign slogan, you know what it should have been? It's time for female generals to be directly on the seat of the Oval Office rather than sitting on the genitals of another general on the seat in the Oval Office. At least something like that. So this is why people wanted her in office, because she was the only one allowed to be born at the time female genitals. You know, that little movie Animal Farm, what actually was a book. The movie was a sham. Do not watch the movie, I suggest. In Animal Farm, it said that all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others, because that's what communism is. And of course, you know, she's a follower of Saul Alinsky. She's, you know, communism. That's her thing. Anyway, so at the time, you know, if you're transgender, you know, that's basically at the time they were more equal than even women. But she was the only one who was allowed to be born with female genitals. And actually, so hurrah, hurrah, she's a woman. You know, it's like, but otherwise it doesn't really matter if you could think you're a woman. So this whole thing is a sham. But you know, Hillary does have a right to be pissed. And let me tell you why she has a right to be pissed. Here's the little story. If you don't remember, we're going to go all the way back. That's right, all the way back, 2008 election. Because we don't have to go all the way back. Well, the reason why they owed her the presidency and they basically gave her that seat in the Senate that magically opened up for her. That was amazing. In the Senate in New York, it was because she was so good and stuck by Bill and held the Democratic Party together through that whole intern scandal, you know, the disparity of powers. You know, you got the president, and it's like the highest office in the world, and you got this like interns getting paid nothing. And you know, it's basically his humidor. Well, anyway, so they owed her. So when she decided it's time for me to run, got my Senate run, you know, my little stepping stone to the White House. You know, she really didn't have any, as far as being the smartest person in the land, as far as being, you know, she's such a smart lawyer. She basically got her jobs when her husband got a promotion in some way, became governor or whatever he became. She got, you know, job in a law firm, partner in a law firm, automatically, you know, when he became, I think it was attorney general or something. And when she got bumped up every time he got bumped up. So it was just token stuff. She did absolutely nothing. And that whole rape case, you know, that's something to be talked about too. That women's destroyed. But anyway, we're not going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about why Hillary is really, really pissed. Okay, so she's owed the presidential run. This was, the Democratic Party made a deal with her back when her husband was in office for holding the party together, because the whole thing would have been destroyed. So she runs for president. And you see, at that time, the Democratic Party was a sham. Shambles. You know, I went to one of your little meetings, and someone sees senators, a friend of my uncle that died, and it was like, you know, out of respect for him, his good friend of him, carried his coffin. And so it was held in this roadside bar where they serve fried fish, and, you know, and dotted along, just a few Democrats here and there, just dotted along the walls hanging out, were like these really old, very white hippies. You know, no minorities to be had anywhere. The Democratic Party was really suffering at the time from a lack of enthusiasm from the minority community. And minorities would have to vote for the Democrats, you know, because they scare them out of their minds. You know, vote for Republican and your benefits are going to be taken away, so you got to keep voting for us, but we're not going to improve your living conditions at all or your education. You know, keeping you, you know, party the KKK, you know, that kind of never changed. But anyway, yeah, transference, Freud transference. But anyway, so you know, like your party is a sham. And so Hillary at the time, she's owed this. And see, Obama, he didn't get on the ballot. I don't know if you remember this, in Michigan and in Florida. So he wasn't going to get enough to get the nomination. And they needed him to get the nomination because he was half Black African, not descendant of slaves, half white. He was like going to bring us all together. It was wonderful. He's going to bring us all together and end all this racism and this whole not the color of the skin matters than the contents of the character. I think something like that was said. And he was raised by communists in Hawaii, and communists in Hawaii by white people, by the way. White people were Hawaii, there really isn't racism, but he went to Chicago and kind of, you know, got a whole identity and adopted that whole thing there. And of course, Hillary came out of Chicago too. This is really interesting. Came out of Chicago. And, you know, Chicago, where they basically have a massacre every weekend, but nobody ever talks about. Like 7,000 people were killed, Black people were killed in Chicago alone during the Obama administration. I think it was like hundreds of thousands of Black people were shot, but nobody talks about that. That'd be really great to get rid of and say, hurrah, you know, if you or Hillary or Obama did that, I'd say, I'd vote for you people 1,000 times over if you fixed up Chicago and saved the lives of all those Black people. But anyway, on to the story about Hillary Clinton. So basically, we've got this bright and shining, beautiful family. It's dressed like the Kennedys. It's going to be like, we could make these people into the new Kennedys, the new Martin Luther King, leaders of the new civil rights movement. So that's what we got going on now. We've got this new civil rights. We're kind of moving out of racism. Things were getting better. People were kind of sick of the whole racism thing. And then all of a sudden, we're back in the 60s, and we've got this new Martin Luther King Jr., you know, and Martin Luther King said something about, yeah, the color of the skin matters, not the content of your character. I think he said that. I think Obama said, you know, the opposite. Didn't he say the opposite? Because that's what we're thinking. We're all thinking that now. It's the only thing that matters now. Well, anyway, so basically, I remember they had this little meeting, you know, Donna Brazile. She was brilliant, beautiful woman. And, you know, basically the Democratic Party, you got to put her up there because, you got to show her off, because the Democratic Party is really kind of suffering from minorities at the time. But this poor woman, she's like caught in the crossfires, you know, and I really feel sorry for her. And I remember, because they were deciding, you know, what are we going to do? Because Obama's not going to get elected. He's not going to get the nomination. He's got to get elected. We've got to, basically, we're going to be taking the nomination away from Hillary. Because at the time, Hillary was actually had more popularity. She was getting more votes. African-American community was voting for her because they were saying at the time, I remember seeing on the Colbert show, and Colbert was like losing his mind. What do you mean he's not Black? And this woman, she's a Black woman, she said, well, no, he's not Black because he's not a descendant of slaves, American slaves. It's different. He has not had the Black experience. And, you know, of course, he's Black. You know, of course, Black kind of doesn't really matter because I guess it depends on your political affiliation. It can be, you know, both sides of you can be Black and you can be dark-skinned. But if your political affiliation is wrong, then, then it really doesn't matter color your skin is, does it? So anyway, this is all bullshit hypocrisy, by the way. But anyway, getting back to giving him the vote. So basically, they took the nomination away and they decided it. And, you know, Donna Brazile is sitting at the table and she comes out with these words of wisdom like she always does every time. She's a great spokeswoman. Put her on TV and she's got these words of wisdom. And she said, my mama said, when you got to do what's right, you got to do what's right when it's right, or something like that. And it was like everybody stopped short because it's just amazing. It's like, who's like, wow, a mother saying that to do what's right. That is freaking amazing. Well, anyway, God bless her. She looks like my mother, actually. Beautiful woman. A really beautiful woman. Anyway. So she said that, so they gave Obama the nomination, and they basically said to Hillary, she got pissed, and so she made that remark about, why are you still in the race? Well, Robert F. Kennedy, you know, we know what happened to Robert F. Kennedy, and they go, before California. Well, anyway, the beautiful woman, you know, racist that she is. Anyway, and he was brilliant. You know, by the way, Obama was absolutely brilliant during that election. You know, apart from starting this whole, you know, let's not, like, hail the national anthem, there's that picture of John, what's his frickin' name? The guy who cheated on his wife and he was dying. He was running. And then it was Hillary, and they had their hands on their hearts because they're going to be president of the United States, uphold the Constitution and all that stuff. And so they got the hand on the heart. And Obama's got his hands on the side. There you go. There's the beginning. But it wasn't about violence against black people or cop shooting then. It was different because he's a citizen of the world. But he's going to uphold the Constitution. So that's basically, he's making a stand like that. He's a citizen of the world, not the President of the United States holding up the Constitution, or trying to be that. But anyway, he started that all, by the way, just adding that there. Well, anyway, getting back to Hillary and her getting really pissed off. So they made a deal with Hillary. They said, look, we're going to fix the next election. He's going to run for 8 years. You know, he knew for a fact he was going to get elected again. You can run for 8 years. And then we're going to make sure you get the nomination. We're going to fix that for you, too. So basically, that was a trade-off. Just like they did this time, Bernie. You know, they cheated him, and then they gave him, you know, like $1 million, and he bought this summer home. You know, all of a sudden, this is his third home. This wonderful communist has a third home. And, you know, didn't have a job until the age of 40. Anyway, I guess working for the public. Anyway, getting back to the fixing this. So basically what happened, you know, what the frick happened? This is what happened. Well, anyway, Obama was brilliant because he painted Bill Clinton as a racist. You know, and of course he is a racist because Bill Clinton said something about if it was a different time, he'd be bringing us our coffee. You know, it's interesting why he would even say that, you know, because his mentor was F. William Fulbright, KKK member, segregationalist, and this guy named Favis, you know, I think they were both senators. And he was also KKK member, segregationalist. And, you know, and Hillary with all her kissy face with Senator Robert Byrd. You know, interesting, Obama and Bill Clinton showed up at their funeral, eulogized them. Now, Obama eulogized the Grand Dragon of the KKK. Yeah, and then all of a sudden this statue shows up in the rotunda of the Capitol. Member of the Grand Dragon of the KKK. You know, I wonder who signed off on those papers. But anyway, whose administration that went up on. But anyway, so, you know, God bless her, racist as she is. You know, it's all coming out now, and they're going to throw them under the bus, and deservedly so. And, anyway.